Hey folks, how you doing? Just want to show you real quick. Want to test, even for my own curiosity, one of my Raptors, the nice thin grind. Some of you guys would call this a kitchen knife. A lot of people really, how would you say it? What's that right word? Underestimate the strength of the steel. This is a knife that is about, there's way under 15 degrees. This is about 10 thousandths. I mean 10 thousandths thick on the edge, super small secondary bevel, full high convex grind. You see that small micro bevel is really small. It's kind of blended convex. Now, to begin with, you know, they are sharp. I don't need to do a paper cut test. But the cutting performance. This Kydex is very tough material to cut. You can cut through the Kydex with this thin grind. Now, nice representation of a sharpened pry bar. I love Eaton Becker, but BK2, even though it's very popular, it just is a sharpened pry bar. You cannot cut with it. And yes, you can pry with it, but knives are not made for prying, not in my book. You can abuse knives, but if you know how to use them, you can abuse even the thin grind knives. And this is just an example of completely thin grind. I have choppers, you've seen the videos of choppers, where I have a chopper that is 15 thousandths thick on the edge, but on the spine is 3/8 thick. So it's monster, it's heavy duty monster that's been chopping through crazy stuff and no damage. You're not gonna break the thin edge. It's, you know, if the grind is right, it can be great cutting performer, because I can slice through the whole phone book with that thing. I can cut through the Kydex. Matter of fact, let's see. That's 3/8 inch thick 01 steel. That's the same Kydex, same as the Becker couldn't go through. It's harder than the thin one, but it is cutting into it. Once you reach a really thick section of the blade, it stops. But you see, I can cut through it. So just an example of that. Even the thick, heavy duty, strong, very strong knife can cut through it. Now let's see some easy stuff. Cut 6 cable, no problem, no damage to the edge. That's easy, I did it with anything. But here's what I really wanted to try. You see that cable? Now there is some heavy gauge aluminum cable. It looks like it's about, what, half-inch wide? It's 5 strands, altogether it's about half-inch wide. And what I want to say is, if that super thin edge and super thin grind can take such thing. You see the marks on the side, right? And there's maybe one microscopic roll. You can barely even see that. There might even be a dirt. There might even be a dirt because I don't see anything on the actual edge. So let's see it again. Another one. And nothing. So let's see again. Another one. And nothing. So let's see the sharpness still. Still razor sharp. So I just sliced 3 times through this kind of stuff and still nothing. So how about it? Oh, let me do a comparison. Let's see if something less thick as BK2. That's just a reference knife. It's one of those really thick knives. Let's see if see, there's so much resistance that it actually has a hard time cutting through something like that. And it actually looks like it has more damage on the edge than the thin one. And again, that kind of touches up on what I said in the tuffthumbzs video. The thicker the grind and the thicker the edge, the more resistance on that very edge. Just imagine that the very edge of the knife is exactly the same on this knife, on this knife, on any knife. If it's a hatchet or anything, as long as it's sharp, that very edge is still the same. And that is that thing what cuts. That is that thing what comes to the contact with the material you're cutting through the first. So, logically, the thicker the edge, even if you're talking just the actual cutting edge or the grind, the thicker the cross-section of it, of the blade what goes through the material, more resistance. That also equals more force you're putting on that microscopic superfine edge that is always the same. So logically, the thicker the edge, the more force, the more dulling, the more power is coming into that very fine edge and more dulling occurs. So you know what I mean, right? I didn't lose you there. I think that even my English was good enough for that. I want to put it a little more to one step even further. Something I never did. I don't know how I'm gonna do this safely without actually cutting myself. Only thing I have here is this. One of those stainless steel lids from the Leatherman. And I want to see, this is one thing what even soldiers do sometimes. They can do the traps and all different things with the metal lids from the barrels and stuff like that. I have only this as a reference. It's probably thinner than ammo case, and not probably, it's definitely thinner, but still, this is also not knife that you take as a combat knife. It's just as a reference of what a super thin steel and grind can do. So that was pretty simple. It went through, no damage really. That went rather well. Actually, I thought that I'm gonna have to baton through it, but I can actually just cut it. It actually only rolled that edge. I can just see that it actually just dulled the edge a little bit. I don't know even, you can see there the little flat spot. That's not even a rolling, that just it flattened the super fine edge. This is actually something what you might fix up even with just the hone, not even sharpening, just honing. And let's see if I can do some more. Surprise. Always thought that you need like the crazy knives for this. No, you don't. There's nothing wrong with having the really crazy overbuilt knives, but there's also a balance where you can have the strength, the crazy strength, where you can even pry if you really need to, but that edge, that grind does not have to be as thick as many knife makers do. Steel is amazing, steel is super strong, it can really take a beating, really. So now, right now, that edge is really... Okay, my memory card ran out, I had to delete the video. So I was showing you that the actual edge is pretty messed up, but it's only microscopic, it's not broken, it's just dull, that's all it is. It's actually, it just formed that super fine edge, just form a roll, you know, kind of like a burr. I can probably actually just hone this on anything, but that being said, it still can cut paper. Still can cut paracord, actually pretty effortlessly. And it still can carve wood. Actually pretty good bites onto that wood. So steel really is a lot stronger than a lot of people think. You don't need to have 50,000 thick edge, you don't need to have even 40, even 30 is really strong. If you have 25,000 edge, that's all you need. But at the same time, those lot matters on the grind. You don't want to put the hollow grind on a knife that you want to have heavy user. You know, hollow grind is the weakest grind. So just imagine 40,000 edge on the hollow grind is probably as strong as 20,000 edge on a flat grind. You know, hollow grind is the weakest grind, so that's why one thing I didn't understand about the Medfords. Because you can, with different ways, you can achieve better cutting performance with the same strength. That's why a lot of people are always wondering, why do you only do convex? No, I do flat grind once in a while. Just when I want to play around, I want to do something really pretty, because it's a little easier to finish nice, like really good looking. But I do convex because it is the best overall grind. It has the best cutting performance, it has the better strength than the flat grind. It just overall, for general purpose knife, it is the best grind, because it's really the best suited for most of the tasks knife is used for. And certainly knife is not meant for prying. You know, if you know you're gonna be prying, just take a little pry bar with you. Not to mention that the amount of force you actually are physically capable of putting on a knife, especially if you're talking small knife like this, you know, no matter how thick it is. If you're talking about knife like this, you know, even if you jam it this far, you only has this much leverage. How much prying can you do with this, just logically? Not much. Really not much. You would have to actually, like, I know they did the tests. Let's just, for example, Becker BK, the Escobar, or the other one, Becker Necker. You actually have to, that's a 3/16 thick knife. You actually have to put a really long pipe on the end of it to be able to bend it. That's how strong it is. It's a little, a lot of people are just assuming how strong things are or how strong things have to be without actual testing it. And you know, that's why companies have research and development teams, because they spend a lot of money doing these researches. A lot of people don't do the research, they just assume. That's why I, for example, try to talk to people who actually have the science behind it, who really study this stuff, and they can tell me, yes, this can do this or that, you know, like actual facts, not just assumptions or guessing. So guys, hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoy, you know, abusing the knife a little bit like this. It's kind of fun. And let me see something. It was actually just touched up, just only on the spine. And if you actually look, remember seeing all those flat spots? All the micros, they are gone. I would probably thicken it up now. I'm gonna fix it up a little better on the sharpening stone or sandpaper. But it did bend that super fine edge right back up, just like a hone. You know, it was just exaggerated thing what you see with the kitchen knives, and then fix up with the hones. That's pretty much what just happened, what I show you. I rolled the microscopic edge because it's so fine, really crazy fine for what I just put the knife through, but I just rolled it a little bit and then just put it right back with the spine of the other hardened steel. So guys, hope you enjoyed this little thing, hope you took something from it. I definitely don't claim myself to be any kind of expert, but there are certain things I know because I already studied it and tested it, and this is one of them. I know my limits with the knives. I know what I can do, what I cannot do, and a lot of people don't know that. And I'm not saying that Medford doesn't know that. I was just trying to kind of suggest in the video, and the debate was kind of heated up because it was, you know, friends busting chops. But all I was really trying to say, like, you can achieve the really crazy overbuild knives even with better cutting performance. There are ways to do it. Knife doesn't have to be indestructible, and especially folder, you know, folder still the weakest point. You're never gonna break that steel before the pivot, before the whole handle construction. So there are certain things that really make no sense, and still it's just my opinion, you know, not everybody has to agree. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for watching, take care, stay safe, and remember, don't cut yourself.